Thank you, dear Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was one of the many Christians who prayed for China when the coronavirus hit it in the early part of this year. It was in Hubei, in the province of Hubei, the most populous province in central China. China, Honorable Speaker, has always been a challenge to the Christian community to evangelize. In this case, Honorable Speaker, we say that God works in mysterious ways. The young doctor who was the whistleblower, Dr. Wen Liang, age 34, who died, on his deathbed, he wrote a note to his family, quoting from an old Chinese poem. But towards the end, he quoted from the letter of Paul to Timothy, second letter of Paul to Timothy, chapter 4, verses 7 to 8. He told his family, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on the day, and not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing. This was priceless, Honorable Speaker, that a virus like this had spread the word of God across the whole of China. Imagine being confined to your room in solitude for 2 months, and all you read are messages such as this. We couldn't have asked for something better. And I'm grateful, my Honorable Speaker, that our prayers have been answered, that China is emerging out of the crisis. Now the epicenter has gone to Europe. And Honorable Speaker, Europe today, like China, is also, the cities are like ghost cities, the solitude. And this is the time, Honorable Speaker, when, like the Chinese, when they sought God. Today, Europe may be the epicenter of the virus, but Europe was the epicenter of the faith back in the days when Christianity was starting off in that part of the world. I read a book by an Indian philosopher, Vishal Magarwadi, who wrote a book titled "The Book That Made You World." And in the book, Honorable Speaker, he said, the Bible made Europe what it is today. To me, Honorable Speaker, the fact that Europe is now desolate, is in solitude, the people of Europe are going back in solitude, seeking God, and they will find God. And Honorable Speaker, this is spreading across the world. Even in Lautoka, the solitude in Lautoka, I'm from Lautoka, I was originally from Lautoka, Honorable Speaker, there's solitude and people are worshiping God. In the villages, there's no more congregation, worship, but families are now worshiping on their own as family units. Honorable Speaker, the virus will pass. China has showed that to us. But Honorable Speaker, we must be ready for what will follow. Yes, the times are very, very bleak, but through faith, Corona will pass. The Israelis are said to be very close to start testing a vaccine. It may still take months, but there is confidence it is possible. Honorable Speaker, in terms of tourism, there is a phenomenon known as a pent-up demand. It is, Honorable Speaker, it takes place when the demand for a specific good or service becomes uncommonly strong. Travel and tourism will see these phenomena in ways that are unprecedented. Fiji must be prepared for this pent-up demand. The forecast, Honorable Speaker, in the supplement says that in page 33, that we will go back to 2015 in terms of arrivals and our earnings, which to me is a realistic forecast. But this is the time to do what we need to do to spruce up the products. Lots of plans are in place for upgrading and renovation. This is the time to do them. Engage the staff in these efforts and keep them employed. Arrange for the tourism operators to secure finance with the lenders on special concessions. After 10 years of unprecedented growth, according to Fiji First, the balance sheets of the tourism operators must be strong now to carry out all these renovations. And, Honorable Speaker, we must obtain special concessions from lenders to enable tourism operators to do all this. Give incentives for training to retrain the staff. In short, We cannot let go of tourism. The demand will follow. If we say 6 months, I believe by October, it should be back to what it is. Let's be prepared for intense marketing, and let's give relief on the departure tax, on the eco, and other taxes to help the recovery become a reality. The Airbus A350 must fly into Houston and to other cities in America, like the way it was planned for the 787. Unfortunately, the coup put this back, but now we have the aircraft. We still yet to fly into those cities. Honorable Speaker, many of the tourism workers are from rural areas. Lift the ban on the beach dimmer. The harvest must be good now after the period the ban has been in place. We've been asking the Minister for Fisheries to take an inventory of what is there. This is a source of money for people in the industry who have been laid off. Remove the licenses so that our people can harvest from the mangroves with crabs, fish from the sea, mussels, acai, and prawns from the rivers. These are natural resources they can use for their livelihood going forward, but there are too many licenses that are inhibiting this. Honorable Speaker, improve on the way we approve things. Too many projects are on hold. The Nandrong Anabosa wants to build a 7-room apartment in Kerry Street, but because of a drainage reserve, we cannot appear to find a solution, an engineering solution. We've tried, we've spoken with the Super City Council, we've spoken to the Town and County Planning, we wrote to the Solicitor General, nothing is happening. That's a $2 million project. Find ways to make this happen. In Nandronga and Singotoka, there's a $30 million mall that is being held back because FRA insists that the mall must have room for a 12-meter truck. Normally it's only a 6-meter truck, but now it's being held back. It's a $30 million mall. There are other projects, Honorable Speaker, that must be made to happen. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, there is a state of health. Our health is paramount. What is happening with Aspen in Bayan Toka? What happened to Apollo? What is happening with the new? What about CWM? It's time to do it and create a new facilities at CWM, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in short, that this will pass, but we must be prepared for what comes after this. The preparation has to start today, and I would hope that the government would take into consideration some of these points. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Gavoka for his contribution to the debate. Honorable members, there's been a change in order. The Honorable Wangani Bete will now speak instead of in place of Sarwira II. Honorable Wangani Bete has taken the speaking times of 2 of the other members of his party who won't be speaking. You have the floor, sir.